Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi there, my name is Muhammad Aqil and I'm from Imam An-Nawawi Islamic Generasi Sekolah Pekanbaru. Today I would like to tell you a story entitled The Emperor's New Clothes. Once upon a time, there was an emperor who was so obsessed with clothes and fashion that he spent all his gold in dress. He did not trouble himself in the least about his people nor soldiers, nor did he care to go either to the theater or the council, except for the opportunities afforded to him for displaying his new clothes. Time passed merrily in the large town which was his capital. Strangers arrived every day at the court. One day, two mischievous rogues, calling themselves weavers, made their appearance. They claimed proudly that they knew how to weave items of the most beautiful colors and elaborate patterns. The clothes manufactured from which should have the wonderful property of remaining invisible to everyone who was unfit for the office he held, or who was extraordinarily simple in character. "These must indeed be splendid clothes," thought the emperor. "Had I such a suit, I might at once find out what men in my realms that are unfit for their office, and also be able to distinguish the wise from the foolish. This item must be woven for me immediately." And he provided them with large sums of gold so that they might begin their work. So the two pretended weavers set up two looms and affected to work very busily, though in reality they did nothing at all. They asked for the most delicate silk and the purest gold thread, put both into their own knapsacks, and continued their pretended work until late at night. "I should like to know how the weavers are getting on with cloth," said the emperor. However, he was rather embarrassed when he remembered that a simpleton or one unfit for his office would be unable to see the manufacture. To be sure, he thought he had nothing to risk in his own person, but yet he would prefer sending somebody else to bring him information about the weavers and their work before he troubled himself in the affair. All the people of the city had heard of the wonderful property the cloth was to possess, and all were anxious to learn how wise or how ignorant their neighbors might prove to be. "I'll send my faithful old minister to the weavers," said the emperor at last after some deliberation. "He will be best able to see how the cloth looks, for he is a man of sense, and no one could be more suitable for his office than he is." So the old minister went into the hall where the knaves were working with all their might at their empty looms. "What?" thought the old man, opening his eyes very wide. "I cannot see the least bit of thread on those looms." However, he did not express his thoughts aloud. The impostors requested him very courteously to come closer to their looms and asked him whether the design pleased him, at the same time pointed to the empty frames. The poor old minister looked and looked, yet could not discover anything on those looms, and for a very good reason. There was nothing actually there. "What?" thought he again. "Is it possible that I am a simpleton? Can it be that I am fit for my office? No, that is impossible. I've never confessed that I could not see his stuff." "Well, sir minister," said one of the knaves, still pretending to work, "you do not say whether this stuff pleases you." "Oh, it is excellent," replied the old minister. "The patterns and the colors, yes, I'll tell the emperor without delay how very beautiful I think them." "We shall be much obliged to you," replied the impostors, and then they named the different colors and described the patterns of the pretended stuff. The poor old minister listened attentively to their words in order that he might repeat them to the emperor. And then the knaves asked for more silk and gold, and then they continued to work as before at their empty looms. So now the emperor himself wished to see the costly manufacture while it was still in the loom, accompanied by a select number of officers of the court, among whom was the old minister who had already admired the cloth. They went to the crafty impostors who, as soon as they were aware of the emperor's approach, went on working more diligently than ever. However, they still did not pass a single thread through the looms. "Is the work not absolutely magnificent?" said the old minister. "If your majesty will only be pleased to look at it. What a splendid design, what glorious colors!" "Truly?" thought the emperor. "I can see nothing. This is preposterous. I am not a simpleton, nor am I unfit to be an emperor," he thought angrily. "Oh, the cloth is charming," said he aloud this time. "It has my complete approbation." He smiled most graciously and looked closely to the empty looms. He would never say that he couldn't see what the old minister had praised so much. "How beautiful!" the other officers yelled as his emperor was in his pretended admiration. "Magnificent! Charming! Excellent!" resounded on all sides. The next day was the day of procession, and the two rogues pretended to roll the cloth up the looms, cut the air with their scissors, and sewed with needles without any thread in them. "Behold," they finally cried, "the unrivaled beauty of the emperor's new clothes! If your imperial majesty will be graciously pleased to take off your clothes, we'll fit on the new suit in front of the looking glass." So the emperor was accordingly undressed, and the two rogues pretended to array him in his new suit. "How splendid his majesty looks!" cried everyone out. "These are indeed the royal robes." "The procession is waiting, your majesty," announced the chief master of ceremonies. "I am quite ready," answered the emperor. So now the emperor walked under his high canopy in the midst of the procession through the streets of his capital. And all people standing by cried out, "How beautiful are our emperor's new clothes!" "But the emperor has nothing on at all," said a little child. And what the child had said was whispered from one to another. "But he has nothing on at all. Yeah, he doesn't wear anything," at last cried all the common folk. Of course, the emperor was vexed, for he knew that the people were right. However, the two cunning rogues had left after the city and never came back. The end. The moral value that you can get from this tale is, don't let pride get in the way of truth. Thank you everyone for your attention. Have a nice day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.